Yeah, I keep hearing that. I do keep hearing that. I keep hearing that the gaming crash. The next one is happening right now. We're going through it. And the way Sony is acting, they ain't helping it at all. I tell you that. And Xbox's fumbles ain't helping it at all. And Nintendo's, ugh, let me get started on them. But we're going to check this video out right now.
The video game crash of 1983 was one of the most disastrous events in the whole history of the industry, wiping out more than $3 billion worth of revenue, causing multiple companies to go bankrupt and about 15,000 people to lose their jobs.
Yeah, and I was a kid then, so I didn't know there was a crash at all. Literally, I knew nothing about it. I didn't find out about it until I jumped on YouTube later on when I became an adult. And I was like, wait, there was a crash then? Really?
The fallout from this one event took years to recover from, caused a seismic shift in the balance of power across the industry, reshaping it to such an extent that the effects are still being felt today. But even that pales in comparison to what's happening right now. Since 2022, the games industry has lost over 45,000 jobs, mostly in North America and Europe. More than 30 development studios have shut their doors forever, and at least 2/3 of AAA studios have conducted mass layoffs, restructures, and downsizing over the past 5 years. In 2025 alone, the industry shed more jobs than the entire video game crash of the 1980s. And it's kind of interesting to compare these two events. The crash of 83 happened because the industry had become bloated and overstretched. Overconfident game studios had invested ridiculous amounts of money in high-profile projects that failed spectacularly, and the market had become oversaturated with low-quality, low-effort garbage designed purely to bilk money out of people that gradually turned the audience away.
Yeah, I heard they ended up burying a ton of those E.T. games. I remember E.T. and I was able to beat it, but I remember being really confused by that game when I was a kid. What's that supposed to be right there? In between E.T. Okay.
Sound familiar, anyone? Well, that brings me neatly along to what I want to talk about today. Why the video game industry is in such a fucking mess. But just before I commence my rant, a quick word from today's sponsor. You don't have to listen to it, so feel free to skip to this time code now if you want to get straight into my rant.
318. Okay. Oh, actually, I think I could, let's see if I skip.
No, worse. Companies and even fraudsters. Personal data now. Right, that's that out of the way. On with the video. The first and most obvious problem with the modern gaming industry is the frankly absurd development costs of AAA titles now, and it's tough to think of a better example than Concord, Sony's disastrous 2024 first-person shooter that was in development for 8 years and reportedly had a budget of $400 million.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever...
Say that again.
Disastrous 2024 first-person shooter that was in development for 8 years and reportedly had a budget of $400 million.
I was zoning for a split second.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
The game was expected to become a tentpole title that would expand into a massive billion-dollar franchise. Development was dogged by a culture of toxic positivity where critical feedback was ignored, failure was considered impossible, and the studio spent more money than a drunken sailor because in the end, it would all be worth it.
You sure about that?
Well, it wasn't. Concord flopped on release. Reviews were lukewarm at best, and the game peaked at 700 active users on Steam. Within a week, it had dropped to less than 200, and within a month, Sony...
See, this is what I was talking about, people know it's coming. See, when people know, especially when they know it's coming, they knew that the game was just modern audience game. They knew what it was going to be. And the ones that liked it showed up. All 700 of them on Steam. You see what I'm saying? So, this is what I'm talking about. The stuff we got going on with Nolan now. With his movie, a lot of people know. I don't know if he'll be protected. Got things going on with Sony right now. them pissing people off, like as much as they are, I think it'll totally destroy the launch of the PS6 possibly. So, yeah.
Shut down the servers and pulled the plug on the entire thing.
Yep.
Well, that was $400 million not well spent.
Nope.
Concord was one of the worst examples of bloated budgets, overconfident developers, toxic positivity, and sheer fucking hubris ever seen, but it's hardly an isolated example. Skull and Bones, an open-world pirate game with, of course, live service elements, made by Ubisoft, released the same year, had an official production budget of $200 million, but a decade of delays, restructures, and creative dithering put the rumoured final budget anywhere from $650 to $850 million. Holy shit, man. If I was a Ubisoft investor, I'd be physically sick if I heard those kinds of numbers. Skull and Bones eventually released to weak reviews, debuted at number 4 in the UK charts, and never really picked up. On Steam, it reached an all-time peak of 2,615 concurrent players. Jesus, I get more than that on a Q&A stream. And I'm a drunken dickhead. Or how about Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, a spin-off from the Arkham series that swapped the tight single-player narrative campaign of the Arkham games for an open world.
Yo, man, let me tell you something. From the first trailers about this, I was like, they really think this is going to work? Like, in my head, I'm sitting there like, instead of doing Batman, you do the Suicide Squad? Like, what? That's who you're cashing in on? Okay. They could have did a Justice League game, Batman, Superman, which can be done. Don't believe that lie, but it's so hard to do because he's so powerful. There's plenty of characters that have his moveset. They can fly, they're strong, and they shoot stuff. There's just plenty of characters like that in video games. But for some reason, you can't make a Superman game. Right. I think they have limited thinking about it. That's why they're in some type of box mentally with that, with why they can't make it. Like they must view Superman in some particular way that keeps them from doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Line experience with live service elements.
I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Once again, a game that was trapped in development hell for years, with shifting priorities and new ideas constantly pushing back the release date, blighted by a culture of toxic positivity, where obvious problems and shortcomings were largely
and a modern audience stood up.
More and more resources as the sunk cost fallacy proved itself yet again. The end result was a fucking disaster that lost Warner Brothers over $200 million and managed to piss off pretty much the entire Arkham fan base with its questionable treatment of Batman.
Yep.
The fact that Sweet Baby Inc. consulted on it probably didn't endear it to players much, but that's a discussion for another day. And I'll be having that fucking discussion, believe that. Or how about Marvel's Avengers that cost $170 million and flopped spectacularly because of shitty gameplay and again, live service crap that absolutely nobody asked for. Honestly, I could go on with this stuff, but you get the point here. AAA
Yeah, I remember when that game came out. I got a nice boost in my live stream numbers there. And I was like, wow, my fans really like Marvel a lot. And I would have kept playing, but numbers aren't everything to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, it didn't work. The game didn't work for me. What did I play it? Like twice maybe? Maybe 3 times? I can't remember, but it just didn't work. I was just like, no, it's not worth it.
Games are becoming so ridiculously expensive to develop that they're starting to run into the same exact problems that are slowly bankrupting Hollywoods. For a start, the numbers just don't add up. When you've pumped so much money into a project that the break-even point becomes fanciful at best, then you've created your very own Kobayashi Maru, a scenario where it's impossible to win no matter what you do. The solution? Find ways to squeeze even more money out of the customer. That means live service features. Oh, you already spent $70 on our game, huh? Well, that's nice and all, but you really need to buy the latest campaigns, skins, and equipment if you want to get the full experience. And you want the full experience, don't you?
Right.
You sure about that?
Honestly, games with this kind of shit turn me off faster than a Whoopi Goldberg sex tape. Because it's nothing but a transparent attempt to squeeze you for more cash. And don't even get me started about always online connectivity where you feel like you're playing with some faceless corporation leaning over your shoulder, analysing and judging everything you do.
Yeah.
It also leads to both the sunk cost fallacy and a culture of toxic positivity where you're forced to throw more and more money at a struggling project just to get the thing over the finish line, and criticism is mostly ignored because nobody wants to
Interesting
admit
they keep
that what
showing
they're
his shield
making
from that
isn't
angle.
working. Because really, when there's
Conspiracy
hundreds of millions
theorists.
of dollars on the line, who wants to be that one guy who sticks up his hand and says, maybe we should just stop this? It's why so many of these games that probably should have been scrapped end up with insane production budgets, because the studios have thrown so much into them already, it's simply unthinkable to stop. To this day, one of the bravest decisions I can remember was Capcom during the development of Resident Evil 2. They'd rushed the game into development without a clear creative vision, and as deadlines loomed, the general consensus was that it wasn't living up to expectations. On the other hand, they'd already invested a year of dev time and tens of millions of dollars in it, so the pressure was on to get it finished and released. Instead, they scrapped the whole thing and started again, sacrificing time and money for the sake of quality. And the result was one of the most successful titles in the entire franchise. The lesson here? Sometimes it really is worth cutting your losses and starting again. The other major problem with having so much money on the line is that it discourages creativity, innovation and risk-taking and pushes developers towards bland, predictable, focus-tested concepts that have already been done a million times before. The gaming landscape today, just like the film industry, is saturated with endless sequels, remakes and reboots of tired, played-out franchises, all of them costing insane amounts of money that could have been used on smaller, more interesting projects. And it is so goddamn depressing to watch. Games like Expedition 33 were like a breath of fresh air because for once it felt like you were playing a game with genuine artistic intent behind it, willing to explore outlandish ideas and take creative risks. Because they could afford to, because the game cost less than $10 million to develop. Just like low-budget independent films like Obsession turned into massive successes because they were produced outside the traditional Hollywood system, so games like Expedition 33 proves that there's absolutely a demand for new, interesting concepts, and if the big players can't or won't deliver it, then someone else will step in and do it for them.
Yeah, I can't wait until they do another one of those. Soon as that will be pre-ordered. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, man, that game was good.
The end result of all this bullshit is that the gaming industry has finally reached its breaking point. Too many games have flopped, too much money has been wasted, and the only choice now is to cut the fat or die out. I mean, personally, I'd start by firing absolutely everyone in the HR departments and cancelling all consultation firms, but hey, that's just me. Just like back in 1983, we're witnessing another slow-motion video game crash. The only question is, what the hell is going to emerge on the other side? Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Well, at the end of the day, a ton of us have a backlog, a mile long, of older games, PS4, PS5, whatever, maybe even further back than that we have never played, that we can get to, no matter what. So I think we have years and years and years left of gaming, no matter what happens to the industry. Right? Get over and follow The Critical Gamer. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. 10 million subscribers.